All right, y'all, let's take a look at this 2024 Chevrolet Colorado. This is the Z71 model. I've got a review of the Trail Boss as well if you want to check that out. And I've been completely rained out today. This is the earliest I could get out at night for another night review. So up front, we're gonna have LED headlights on the Z71. The Z71 model is second from the top. The ZR2 is at the top, but you got these nice LED daytime running lights, LED headlights, and you'll get LED fog lights down below that. The Z71 is kind of like an off-road light model. It's not a ZR2, it's not like the Trail Boss, it's kind of its own unique one, but it's not really just pure road either. One nice thing, you'll get some red recovery hooks, some tow hooks down there. Now this one is interesting because it comes with 18-inch wheels and this sand dune metallic paint. It's really interesting. I've had a lot of people say they love it or they hate it. It doesn't really look that metallic-y, it's just wet right now. But overall, with the body, the Colorado is still completely fully boxed. So it is a pure truck frame with a fully boxed frame. It was redesigned last year, design carries over, and any exterior changes are purely dealer installed. Now dimensionally, this is 213 inches, and it only comes in crew cab with a short bed. You don't get any other configurations for this generation. In the back, you're also gonna get LED taillights back here. Always a nice touch, Chevrolet stamped on the back as well. And as we get to the bed, one thing that is really nice, just like the Big Brother Silverado, you get these bumper steps back here. That can be really handy actually getting into the bed of the truck. Taking a look at the bed, this is a 5-foot bed, just under 62 inches. It's a locking tailgate, which is nice. You've got a camera set up back here as well. One optional thing is an easy lift and lower tailgate, so you can get that if you want it. Really slow down. Now truck beds have kind of had some new innovations recently, especially with the Big Brother GM with its, different type of tailgate. But check this out. The little Colorado gives us a 45-inch wide, watertight little tray right here. It's 4 inches deep. So, I mean, you can store some random stuff back here, and it's nice that it can be watertight, although there is some water in there for some reason, but it's still a nice concept to be able to throw some things inside. Pull it down. Can't imagine that can keep a lot of gravel and stuff out if things like that happen, but moving on, we've got some tie downs in each corner. So you've got 2 in every corner, which is good. We've got a 3-prong outlet back there too, and this is an optional bed liner, spray in bed liner too. One thing that's frustrating, I'll tell you about the lighting controls on the inside, but to turn that cargo light on, you have to go in, have the vehicle somewhat on, like it doesn't even have an actual auxiliary mode or accessory mode, and you gotta go into the touchscreen in order to turn on the cargo light. It's annoying. Shouldn't be like that, but we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Now, Chevrolet gives us the smart key. I like the way this key fob feels. It feels pretty solid. You've got the Chevy logo on the back. It does come with remote start as well, and the smart key system is on the front doors, not the rear doors. This is the only thing you need to do to lock it or to unlock it. There's no sensor. It's just purely based off of a button. And right now, I was telling you about the lights. I turned the headlights on in the screen. Now to turn them back off, I have to push the screen again, go into the screen, turn them off, or go into auto. It's just a little bit frustrating. But Chevrolet gives us these leather wrapped seats right here. There are some options in this model. I like the red on here. You've got red up above. These are nice and soft. They've got a good amount of side bolstering, a good amount of bottom bolstering, kind of a mild amount, I should say. And you got 2-way lumbar support here as well. So you got all the typical power adjustments. It is a tilt and telescoping steering wheel on this particular model as well, and it's heated. I have driven the Colorado for a few hundred miles this week, and I've been comfortable, except I think the headrest was a little bit far forward for my taste. But one thing that we get on the Z71 with, I believe, the convenience package is heated seats, heated steering wheel, ventilated seats, and memory settings. That's quite a bit. Now climbing into the back seat, so I love the back seats of pickups because they are more practical than people give them credit for. Look, we've got storage under the seat. So you've got your jack kit right there, but you've got room for other stuff. You could obviously move the jack kit, and it's a split fold seat. So if you've got a kid or a passenger on that side and you still want to put stuff here, you can. Obviously, unlike a full size with a flat load floor, you don't have that, but it's still an extra little bit of practicality. Let that down, you've got some nice looking seats and your expected size for a mid-size back seat. Couple of unexpected things, you get cup holders right here. So a lot of times it's just an armrest. You also get air conditioning vents and a USB-C, USB-A port right there as well. My legroom is good enough. It's not great, obviously. I mean, my knees are pretty much there. I'm 5'9", and this is where I have the seat for myself to be comfortable. And sitting up tall, let me tell you, I am only 5'9", and I can feel my hair touching right now. I don't remember how it was in the Trail Boss, but maybe something to keep in mind for taller passengers. It's a very upright seat, but it's definitely passable for a lot of people. And you've got a manual sliding window right there. It's always nice, but kind of wish it was automatic, but you don't have to worry about the failure. One more thing is we've got a center folding armrest, and it even has little rubber grips inside of it. All right, on the interior, one big change that we get is the fact that this screen is now standard. You could have an 8-inch or the 11-inch on the ZR2, but now it's standard. So you got two big screens in here as standard equipment. Now, the interior is a fairly nice place to be for the most part. I think it's very practical. You've got some like rubberized material right here on the door. You've got a little storage pocket up there, kind of a smaller but somewhat tall bottle holder there as well. And the same, you know, it feels kind of like a tough material, which is definitely welcome. On the inside, you also get an integrated trailer brake controller. I wish it was a little bit more visible, but hey, at least you still have that. Right here, the steering wheel, leather wrapped. It is also heated with the button on the steering wheel right there. I enjoy this steering wheel. It's easy to hold. I like the available kind of 4-spoke design, so that's a plus for me. One thing is the controls are a little bit wonky. So to control things on that screen, there's not really a ton to do. You use this button, which is basically like a little pages button. And as you press that, you get different pieces of information, or basically different views of information on here. One thing that kind of surprised me is that the steering wheel, which has this right here, when you do that, it really just changes the audio. It's not like you have a quick change like other GMs to change information, but it just takes a little bit of getting used to. You also have audio controls on the back of the steering wheel, just like you used to have. Over here, another large screen with wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. I think this looks very nice. It works pretty well, except one thing that is weird to me is that you control your light controls, like your high beams, your headlights, or not high beams, but like fog lights, automatic high beams, your headlights on this screen. So to turn your fog lights on, you have to go into the screen, tap over there. Your headlights, if you want to change those, it's right here. You don't have a knob or any quick controls or anything like that over there. That is really weird. I wish they would bring physical controls back, but hey, that's just me. A 6-speaker audio system is standard, but we have a 7-speaker right here, and you can even get an optional surround view camera. This model doesn't have it, but you can get it as optional. And check it out, you can even still have a hitch line to help you line up, and you can look straight down at it. That's really handy. Just below all of that, we've got dual zone climate control in here. So you and your passenger get your own controls. I love the layout of everything right here with our ventilated, heated seats, the automatic function fan. Everything has a place. It's easy to operate. I'm glad to see physical controls there at the very least. And then down here, so this is kind of interesting. You see it's like a window button. You press that, all of your windows are going down, all of them. And here's the thing, you can't roll them back up. It's basically, if you just want all the windows down, you have a shortcut. It's kind of cool, I guess, but I personally would never really use it. Auto stop start, you can shut that off, which is nice. Your lane keeping technology, even an auxiliary switch if you attach something. Below that, more connectivity. So you got a USB-C, USB-A, and a wireless charging mat. That comes on this model. It has been finicky with my iPhone, charging and not charging consistently. But down here you've got kind of some nice material. So you have that as an optional storage area. You also have your cup holders down here, which accommodate a good amount of drinks. There's even a slot in the middle. Electronic parking brake, and this is a dual purpose knob right here. One thing I love about General Motors and their trucks is the auto 4-wheel drive mode. So you can push that and it's going to put you in auto mode. So it will be in 2-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive unless it's needed, and then it quickly and basically seamlessly shifts into 4-wheel drive. So off and on slippery situations, it's perfect. Otherwise you can be in 2-wheel drive with a mechanical locker in the back, or if you spin it, then you spin that mode, it's going to give you your different drive mode. So normal, off-road, you've got tow haul, terrain mode, and it will, you know, when you go into 4 high, that's when you're going to be able to use that. Another thing about this knob is it's got this little rubber coating around it. Just a nice little touch from General Motors. So coming back here, this armrest kind of has that same unique texture on it. It's like rubberized, I guess I could say. I'm fine with it. I bet it's durable. Lift it up, you've got a little storage space right here and even more down below. And you can't really see it right now, but there is a 12-volt power outlet in there too. Chevy also gives us glove box down there. Pretty kind of standard size glove box, nothing special going on. But the same material continues on the dash. So I mean, I think everything is built pretty well. It looks pretty nice in here for the most part. In this trim level, the Z71 model, at least it's got this kind of rubberized material, which I think looks all right. We have an automatic dimming rearview mirror, no flipping on that one. Just your regular interior lights, pretty basic, no LED interiors right there. And this one does not have a sunroof or moonroof, just your standard setup. It is optional though, however. All right, y'all, we are now behind the wheel of this 2024 Colorado. So I drove the Trail Boss not that long ago, and let me tell you, they've already got something changed with the powertrains. There were previously 3 different outputs for their 2.7 liter 4-cylinder turbo. Now there's only 2. They got rid of the Turbo Plus, which was the mid-grade, which that Trail Boss had. Now the Trail Boss, the Z71, and the ZR2 all get the top end high output. This one originally did, but now the Trail Boss gets added to that category. So the work truck and the LT get the lower output 2.7 liter, but this one with the high output gets quite a bit of power. So you got 310 horsepower, which is good, just like the Turbo Plus, but 430 pound-feet of torque. That is a lot for a mid-size pickup like this. I'm glad they did that, but on the other side, this is the only option. There's no V6, there's no hybrid, there's no naturally aspirated engine. It is just a turbo 4-cylinder. Although it puts out a lot of power and a lot of torque, something I thought I'd mention. Comes with an 8-speed transmission standard across the board. Towing is good, a little under 8,000 pounds at the max, so about 7,700 pounds. And this one gets up to 23 mpg on the highway with 4-wheel drive. And I love the 4-wheel drive controls, how you can have an automatic mode like I've talked about. Even if you have a 2-wheel drive Colorado, you can still get the mechanical locker for the rear differential. You don't have to push a button, you don't have to think about it. It just automatically locks up both wheels with a little slippage. And test driving this, so it's still a truck frame. It feels solid, it feels tall, it feels a little stiff, which to me, those are all good things and things that are just nostalgic for me with driving a pickup since I grew up driving one. Compared to older pickups and older vehicles, it drives very well. It's got good handling, it's got good ride comfort for what it is, and the acceleration on this thing is fantastic because of how much torque it has. Let me get on it in a second. And the towing numbers are great too. If you go back a couple decades for full-size pickups, this thing is right up there with it. So partial pedal, little slippage there with the 2-wheel. It's just got gobs of torque. I mean, the torque comes out quick, it comes out pretty smooth as well. This 8-speed has been a smooth transmission, something that's been a pleasure to drive. Little power and torque again. I've had no problems passing anybody, going up grades, driving through town, driving on the interstate. It's all been good, and it's a fairly quiet cabin. There have been a couple times where I got my window down, got some traffic noise, roll it up, and it's like, it's all gone. which is kind of surprising to me because this isn't a laminated glass or anything. I think that Chevrolet just did a nice job of making this quiet. The steering is typical Chevy. It's not quite as light or numb as some vehicles. It feels fairly dialed in, which is kind of how I feel about the Silverado and the Sierra compared to some of the other pickups. I like this screen in front. It's clear, it's big. You got a big screen over there. You still get a trailer brake controller. Your four-wheel drive control is in a good spot with the drive modes as well. Everything is pretty darn practical in here, except the fact you have to do light controls on the touchscreen. Really annoying. Definitely something they should bring back, and probably will bring back, is a physical control. But that's really one of the main things that I've got to say. Personally, I also wish that they had a different option for the engine. I'm okay with this. It's got a lot of power and a lot of torque, good enough for a lot of people, good efficiency, but I like my options. So overall, what do you think of the Chevy Colorado? This Z71 model in particular. Check out the Trail Boss review if you want to see that. And they've got a couple of lower end models with the work truck and the popular LT for a lower priced model and a little more basic. So in conclusion, a couple of good changes. You've got a power bump for the Trail Boss. You have this standard big screen right here, and overall it's a very well-rounded midsize pickup. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up and a comment down below, and I'll catch you in the next one.